A lot of my clients are unfamiliar with the estate planning process when they first come to me. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what it's like to be a client of mine and all the stages along the way and general timelines and things that you might be curious about, but you might not really know. So the first step is meeting each other, naturally. So that's the initial contact phase. So there are usually three ways people come to me. They might just find me on the internet or through a friend. They might have attended one of my workshops, or they might have gone through my video lecture series. So the initial contact phase is just how we've met. It's informational, it's educational. There's no obligation. It's free. So I always make sure that my clients are informed and educated so that you can feel good about the plan when you reach the end. And I'm not hiding anything from you or making it too complicated. I try to make it simple, and the easiest way to do that is by educating you. So that's the first phase. The second phase is called the vision meeting. So this is when we get together, and it's essentially issue spotting. So I'll walk you through what I call an estate planning audit, and I'll ask you a series of questions, and you'll give me scores from 1 to 10, 1 being not important, 10 being very important, on different issues that come up in estate planning. And if you're familiar with the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, the points don't matter. I'm not grading you. It's just a matter of finding what you have as your priorities and making sure that I'm doing the best I can to identify why you called me in the first place. So that vision meeting, we go through the estate plan audit. You're telling me what's important to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. You're just giving me an insight into your special concerns and what you want to have addressed in your estate plan. And then I use that information by the end of the meeting, and I give you a recommendation on which package can accomplish your goals. So you're telling me what's important to you. I'm not trying to tell you what's important to you. And then at the end of that, you could just see the different options and which package can address which concern, and what you want to do. The prerogative is always on you to decide how you want to proceed. So that's the vision meeting. Ideally, by the end, you've already been educated. Now I've issue spotted for you, and I've made a recommendation for you, to mull over. And then I just wanted to say, usually I stagger each of these meetings by about 1 to 2 weeks. It depends on my client volume at the time, but you can plan on each of these happening pretty methodically around 1 or 2 weeks apart from each other. The next phase is called the design meeting. So, by this time you've been educated. We have done the issue spotting, and I've made a recommendation. Here you've decided on what package or a plan that you want. And this is when we get into all the the nitty-gritty legal details of, hey, I want this person to be my executor. I want this person to be my trustee. I want these 3 people to, inherit from me if I pass away. All that kind of stuff. We go through the exact details of your plan to make sure that, what you have envisioned is actually in your plan. This could usually take about an hour and a half. I have different templates ready for the different packages. And, that's when we start out with generalities at the beginning of the process. So in the beginning, you're just learning, and I'm just figuring out a little bit extra about you. And this is when we're getting very specific, and we're making final decisions so that I can start to craft the documents. So that is the design meeting. And then, whether it's about 1 or 2 weeks after that is the signing meeting. So this is when you get your big fancy binder that you've been working hard on and learning all about. And by this time, there should be no surprises. We've gone through, you've been educated on the topics, the issues that you wanted addressed. We've gone through and we've designed your plan and crafted it. We've worked together to reach, this endpoint where you're getting your documents and what's in there. But still, it's good to review and make sure that I didn't spell anything wrong or anything like that. So we sit together and go over your plan, make sure it's exactly how you want it. Then the next couple of things we go over are, I go through it. I tell you exactly about getting it, notarized and all the stuff that needs signed, and, how to make sure that it's legally effective and not just a binder full of papers. And then the other half of the conversation, if we're doing, the advanced asset protection planning, is called funding. Imagine funding a trust is like, so I craft the trust. That's like me building the house, but there's nothing in it. So it's not really your home yet. funding is moving the furniture into the house, so this is moving assets into the trust so that it actually is protected. So ultimately, funding the trust is up to the client, but I always provide guidance for people on filling out forms, opening up a bank account in the name of the trust, if that's what we're doing in this situation, or retitling the deed to the house so that it's in the trust. Those certain technical things along the way so that, okay, you have this trust, it's notarized, it's signed, but if the assets aren't properly transferred into the trust, then it's not really going to do what we set out to accomplish. So, we have that conversation and I walk you through what you're going to need to do. And, by the end of that meeting, you're going to have a little checklist of what I need to do and when I need to do it, and, the information that you need to provide back to me. And then, from A to Z, we've gone through and we've crafted your estate plan. And to give you an idea on the total timeline, I have a 30-day goal of when you enroll to be a client to the completion of your estate plan. And that can always sometimes be adjusted depending on different situations, but I generally have a 30-day goal. 4 or 5 steps. Some of them can be combined if there's simpler issues at hand, but that just gives you a sneak peek on what it's like to be a client, what to expect, what you'll see, and hopefully at the end of it, there's no surprises. You've worked with me the whole way, and everything that's in there we've talked about over and over again. I try to layer information as we go so that you're comfortable and you feel like you've been an active partner in crafting your plan. You haven't just handed it off to me and I just give you a notebook and then you have to sign it and act like what's in there. I make sure that you are personally involved in the process from beginning to end. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, you can contact me at 724-60-ELDER or by email at contact@beaconestateplanning.com.